So Romans 8:17. Romans 8:17 says, if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified with him. Now this scripture, some people have taken this scripture, Romans 8:17, and said, oh, you see, it's only when you suffer with him, that you can become a joint heirs. But that's not what they say. That's not what they say. Let's look at it in other translations, shall we? Okay, I'm going to bring it up. Romans chapter 8, verse 17. Just bear me a moment. Thank you very much for staying here. Romans chapter 8, verse 17. The Bible here says, and I'm reading the Amplified version first. And if we are his children, then we are his heirs also. Question, are you his child? Romans 1:12 says, if you have received him, you are his child, right? So you are his child. So if you are his children, then we are his heirs. We are his heirs also, heirs of God and fellow heirs with Christ, sharing his inheritance with him. Only we must share his suffering if we are to share his glory. Okay, so what is he saying? He's saying that there's a glory that Christ has. The way for us to share that glory is we share his suffering. What kind of suffering is he talking about? He's talking about suffering for righteousness' sake. So essentially, if you are in the office and you preach to somebody and they sacked you, well, you have suffered for righteousness' sake because you are trying to bring somebody to the kingdom and you lost your job. All right, that's okay. That's okay. All right, that's sharing what in the suffering of Jesus. You know, you go and evangelize, they pour water on your face. That's sharing in the suffering of Jesus Christ. But do not tell me that sharing in the suffering of Jesus is to live poverty-stricken, to live with a penury, to wear rags everywhere, not to represent the King of the universe. Don't tell me that sharing in his suffering is to be so sick and you're living in sickness all the time. Don't tell me to share in his suffering is to be beleaguered with the things that the enemy brings into people's life. No, that cannot be right. Let me show you how the Passion Translation translated this scripture, and it will bless you. The Bible here says, and since we're his true children, we qualify to share all his treasures. For indeed, we are heirs of God himself. So which means all of the treasures of God, all belongs to us. Because why? Because we're his children. Okay. And since we are joined to Christ, we also inherit all that he is and all that he has. Which means since we are joined to Christ, we inherit all that Jesus is and all that Jesus has. Question, does Jesus have sickness? No. Is Jesus Christ living in poverty? No. Does Jesus Christ suffer anxiety and panic attack? No. Does Jesus Christ have low self-esteem? No. Are you getting the drift now? All that he has and all that he is what you have. That is your inheritance. That is what you have in Jesus. All that he has and all that he is. Think, two things there. All that he is, that's identity. All that he has, that's possession. So you are not only, you do not only have the identity of Jesus, you also have access to what he possesses. And what does he possess? He possesses the entire world. That is the reason why you should have an ownership mindset. I'll be talking about the next part of this conversation in the next video. So please go back and watch it. All right, until then, remember, you are joined heirs with Jesus. I'll speak to you soon.